that.
Oh gosh, that countdown, that countdown timer, that countdown timer went quick. Sorry guys. Hey, what's up, everybody? I pushed the. I get so many buttons. I get just I tell you, man, like a kid in a candy store. I get all these fancy stuff, and I just hit jump the gun and press the. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining. If you're here, if you're not, oh well. I think you guys are. You guys are coming on pretty much. So tonight we got the Keala Foundation. You guys gonna be inspired, folks. All right, let's. All right, folks. Hey, welcome, man. It's the Coconut Wireless. My name is Mel. I'm your host, and tonight, guys, you guys, like I said, man, you guys gonna be inspired. We got the Keala Foundation, Aaron Hoff and his crew. We'll bring them on in a little bit. I just want to remind you guys that we are going to start to migrate to YouTube, folks, because remember I told you Facebook is making it harder and harder for us to go live because they ain't making no money. So just remember, guys, get to YouTube, subscribe to my channel. Mel Raposo, very easy to find, and let's go get it done. Because when Facebook says no, 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 then it's gonna all be on YouTube. So, all right, I don't know if you guys heard about the Keala Foundation. I can tell you, I've heard about the Keala Foundation for a very long time. I have a good buddy, classmate Bertram Almeida, been trying to get me up to the Keala Foundation site and just schedules and whatever the heck. But anyway, let's go. Let's go bring on the crew, guys. Let's go bring on the crew. What? Okay, Aaron,
Yes, sir.
are you How you doing, man?
I'm good. Just
I
cruising. I
see.
got about 4 weeks out from a new hip replacement, so I'm walking with no pain.
Yeah, I see.
Not no-
I see. Wild Bill next to you. Is that Wild Bill DeCosta?
Hey Mel, how are you, Mel?
I
Here
just
to
saw
say
you.
hello to Aaron Hoff. I know.
I just saw a few hours ago, man, at the meeting. But yeah, I've been excited. Today just thinking about this for the last few days. Just I'll share a little bit. Last week, Aaron was nice enough to invite me up to go speak uh, at his camp, and I had no idea what to expect. We get asked to speak at a lot of places, and I knew it was a camp. I knew it was for kids. I knew it was for kids that were struggling, but I didn't know the structure. And I got up there, and I got to tell you, like as I said in my closing comments, Aaron, that night, man, those kids changed my life. 8 of them, and they completely changed my life. So we talked, and I said, hey, it'd be great to have you come on and share your story and share your program, and so let's just start with that, man. Let's just start with who is Aaron Hoff and how in the heck did Keala Foundation get started?
Oh, I'll give you okay. Who is Aaron Hoff? He's just a regular human being. Nobody special, but I'm a local boy. I was born on Kauai. 50 years old, and my life. I lived on Kauai my whole life. I had a good family, hardworking family. And two brothers and an adopted sister, and yeah, it was a good family. Just my dad guys were there. My mom, they were always working, and just like typical local style over here, you got to work. Parents are always working and trying to make time. I played t-ball. I played all those things at Kaloa Park, and I was just they put me in all the sports, and but for some reason I just never like gravitated. I like bodyboarding when I was young, and I just I just didn't like organized things back when I was younger, and so I got into surfing, and and a long story short, it's just I don't want to go on like a big like a drug talk, but growing up on this island, there was really not too, at least where I was, it's on the south side. There was really no safe environments growing up. So like normal, you just become what your environment produces, and by the age of 9, I was already smoking weed, and our environment. Like I'm a, I always tell people, and I'm gonna try not to hop from topic to topic, but I always tell people that, our island, drinking and using weed is normalized, and everybody does it in front of everybody. It's like an accepted thing, which is okay. I'm not here to preach and tell people what to do, and I just share my experience, and I got into it right away, and I loved it. Smoking weed and stealing. I was the thief. All the things that comes with that. I was that really quick. So my career as a drug addict was very successful because it ended really quick. I got sober at 23 years old, and my whole life, I just got involved with cocaine and meth and pretty much whatever you got, and always had the cops looking for, it was just not, it was just, that's the lifestyle. I couldn't control it. I was just, drugs was my master all through high school. It controlled every aspect of my life. And I just hurt people. I burned bridges. I did all this stuff. And it's, I'll just kind of go to the end of my, cause there's so many stories, if people remember me from who I was, it was just like, I was just somebody that the parents would come and grab their kids away from me, because I was the guy who would make everybody smoke weed. Everybody, I was the guy that would talk even the most strictest person into using, and there's consequences from it. I have a lot of friends who I got started that aren't here anymore, and and it's just a thing, it's just how it is, and but for that, at the tail end of my drug use, I basically tried to commit suicide. Just kind of backtrack to say here. By that time I was married with my wife. I met her on the North Shore. I was living on Pipeline. I was married to her for about a couple years, and we came back to Kauai. I went to Oahu to get away from Kauai because I had guys, I had guys looking for me. So I fled to get away. And then I went over there, met my wife. And then when the heat was off, I came back to Kauai. And then I picked up right where I left, and I was smoking ice. All my friends as soon as I came back, all my friends were here, all doing the same stuff. And I started smoking ice, and then it just, it just took over my life. And at 23, I ended up trying to commit suicide several times. And luckily, my wife stopped the car. I was falling out of the car to fall under the tire, like going about 50, heading to the psych place. And then somehow we stopped. And then when I got to the psych place, I was about ready to jump off the building head first. I was trying to just make myself and land perfectly so it would snap my neck. And then the guy grabbed me and took me in the room. And then I proceeded to start to look for treatment centers. The guys, so I called, everybody told me, don't go to Sand Island on Oahu. So of course I called everywhere. All my drug addict friends were telling me, don't go to Sand Island, it's the worst one. So I called every treatment center, nobody picked up. And then I called Sand Island was the last one. I looked at it, and the guy picked up the phone, and he said, we have one bed, but you need to come right now. And I was like, oh, do you think I could come tomorrow? He's all, nope, your bed will be gone. I was like, frick. So then my dad gave me a one-way ticket to the treatment center because nobody wanted me back. I was just like, they loved me, but I was just unbearable. I was just that type of person. And there's probably a lot of people on here who can have people like that in their families right now, and kids. And then I got into treatment, and it was on Christmas Eve. So just, I'm going to try to describe the situation. I had cops coming by my house looking for me because I sold them stolen stuff. So they were coming by my house in cop cars and all this. And I had guys that, you don't want to I fronted a lot of dope from a lot of people. And then there's these guys that you don't want to do it, but I would just, they were going to kill me, So I had those guys coming with bats to my parents' house, and then I had everybody I just ripped off you know what I mean? Because my drug addiction was so like, I stole from my daughter. I stole from there was the possession of drugs is so powerful that people don't it's you have to have your drugs and you'll do and it basically takes over your life and you'll do anything to get it. I understand people who will rob banks. I understand it. It makes and I understand people who want to commit suicide because the pain is so painful. Like it's just like drugs, it takes you over and you can't think of anything, but the pain takes over and you just want it to stop and you're not going to think about your kids or whatever. People think, oh, it's a coward's way out, but it's just like, man, if you were ever there and understood that pain, it's like you just want it to stop. You want this to stop. And
Aaron, you've been talking for a little bit, and I know that people watching are seeing this as holy cow, what a story. But this story, what you're sharing right now, is not uncommon with our youth of today. Correct? I mean, this is, in fact, I would say it's pretty common, right?
it's eating up our whole island. It's like, and one thing I wanted to say is like, everybody says like marijuana is the gateway drug and all this stuff. And I truly believe, it's like the great gateway drug is what I do in front of the kids. What a parent does. If I drink in front of the kids, I just signed off on it's okay to do this and go into this environment. So it's a hard one to swallow because some people can drink and handle, but you know what I mean? Why it's like Russian roulette. When you do that, it's not you might not kill yourself, but you're going to give somebody else the keys. And it's usually the kids that look up to us that are the ones that suffer. I was one. My dad drank. All the uncles drank. I wanted to be like all the uncles at the beach. And I didn't know that they're living in the pavilion. Those are the guys I looked up to. They're just catching big fish, diving. I was like, oh, this guy catching surfers, unreal surfers. But they're like, those are my mentors. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna try to fit when you're a young age. You try to fit in so that you can be accepted by these people. So you do what they do, and because it's the thing to do, yeah. And then I'll go back to the trip. This is the biggest part, so I'll just get through this and then kind of like talk about the program. But I was in the treatment center on Christmas Eve, and then so I already tried to commit suicide, all this stuff, and then but I was in such a dark corner, and I was in a room with about 60 people kicking dope, in a building, and then I just said, God, if you're real, you need to come now, because I'm not going to make it till tomorrow, and then instantly this peace came over me, it's like, and I get goosebumps every time I mention it. It was like all that pain was just wiped away, taken away, and I've never felt so loved and peaceful in my life. It was, I never forget it till this day. And it was like, and then a voice tells me, Aaron, you're going to be okay. And I was in the worst place, the worst bottom you could be, the strung out drug addict, destroyed everything, and then that was the beginning of my life and led me to where I am today, and it's been a journey. I've been sober 26 years, and it's been hard, but it's been I wouldn't change.
Well, first of all, congratulations on your sobriety. And again, some of the stories, I cannot help but visualize that circle of kids and counselors that we had on Thursday. And then again, this weekend, you shared some really, really personal stories, and you ended up going to Sand Island, right? And
Yeah.
Sand Island, share a little bit about that experience, and for parents or anyone that's listening that have kids that are struggling, because I know all the drug dealers told you don't go to Sand Island, but I have heard
Yeah.
a lot of success stories about Sand Island. So maybe you want to just touch on that to give our parents and loved ones maybe some idea of what the kids can expect.
So like when I went to Sand Island, I still am the guy that picked me up, Mike. I'm still very good friends with him. I actually went over there and spoke not too long ago. So I have a great relationship with them. and I send a lot of people over there. Over the past 26 years, I've sent a lot of people over there. So I have that resource at my whenever I need that. And they know what I'm doing over here. They've been, they're just amazed at how this has become. But Sand Island is just, and I repeat what they've taught me. It's AA, it's 12 steps, and I just repeat what they taught me in the beginning, but I simplify what they gave me so the kids can grasp it, because that's like intense treatment. So the kids, is I've learned, like, you got to make it simple and short, and the kids don't have as much. Some kids, they have trauma, but it's not over a long period of time, so you don't have to go into the depths of what the steps entail to get the kids back, and but for me, going in there, I would wake up and they had these little daily readings. I would get in the morning, and I would start my day. I would get up and I would have the reading for the day. So I would read that, and then I would go to a meeting, and the meetings were like, you just start learning how to communicate. You learn how to be transparent. And I mean, I was so transparent. I would go to my meet. I had my counselor, this guy Sanoa. He was a 350-pound Samoan guy, just huge, and he wasn't fat. The guy was huge, and I would go to every day. I would go to the group. Actually, I went through all the counselors because none of them could handle me, so they put me with a last chance Samoan guy, and I would go to the meetings, and he would corner me and just like hammer, like yell at me the whole time. And but at the end of the day, the guy saved my life. He taught me how to, like, just be able to speak like what I was doing, and when I was able to communicate with him, I was able to identify the things that were making me want to have to use drugs. The pain that I was holding inside that I couldn't get rid of, that made me have to use drugs to medicate that pain. And so that's what I've done for the kids. The kids, like, our classes, we have regular, our all of our classes are free. I've never charged that from the day I started this foundation till now. It's all free for kids, and I'll never charge. And they do the same. They come into the gym. They have the first 5 minutes. We've created an app that our team created an app that has a daily word every single day. That when these kids come, they're learning how to talk, and they're learning how to use these words. Like, if the best thing, so somebody laid out a hammer, and you had no idea what that hammer was, and then somebody explains how to use that hammer. That's the same exact thing when you talk about integrity, when you talk about honesty, when you talk about lying, when you talk about all those topics. If they're not talked about, these kids will never know how to use those. You know what I mean? And those are the most vital tools that teach you how to process trauma. And it's I know I'm getting a little ahead, but it's like, if you don't process trauma, and it's not the big traumas, it's all the little ones that happen, and you stuff them inside, you don't feel good in yourself. And then you go to drink, you take a drink, to take the edge off. You start to smoke weed, and it's good in the beginning. It's a tool that works. You can use it, and it makes you feel good, and it's a tool that actually works. But in the long run, it'll eventually stop working, because all that stuff that you're just burying will always prevail. It'll take everybody. It's like men. We have the highest rate of suicide, and it's usually between the ages of 30 and 50, I think. I could be wrong, but we have because men don't talk. We're told, like, if you cry, you're a sissy, and that's what I. That's. And I mean, there's so much to, like, touch on, and I could just go. I have like a vast education on this, but you got to start. You just got to start very small from the beginning. It's like I could just go into the weeds and lose everybody.
Yeah,
I've been doing
you
it.
talked about the crying aspect, and when as I sat in that room Thursday, and I saw these kids, and it honestly reminded me of when I went to boot camp many, many, many years ago. And I asked those kids, did you know everyone else in this group before you got here? And no, it was all people that were just introduced to each other. They were all struggling with addiction. And I asked them, did you guys get homesick? And all the hands went up. Did you all cry your first night here? The hands went up. And I can tell you, man, that was courage for those kids to raise their hands to admit that they cried in front of all these guys, all these other peers that, are tough guys, right? They're when they're out and they're struggling and, um, probably in school, everybody knows them. And yet they felt safe enough. They trusted everyone in that room enough to raise their hand and admit that they cried on the first night. I thought that was quite telling because I don't, I coach youth football and I can guarantee if I went to the football field practice and said, how many of you guys cry? I can tell you no one would raise their hand, man. They just wouldn't. But that group was different and it was incredible. And this just says a lot about the program. So it's 20 plus years now, and I look back at the Keala Foundation. I think about the trail rides. I think about all uh, those sporting events that you had up in the fields where people, what I can't remember what it's called, but people would go and get just stinking
Ultimate Hawaiian
dirty.
Trail Ride.
Yeah, yeah. So, what's the evolution of the Keala Foundation? Take us through the journey of how that came about.
Oh, you want to say so? It's really, it's. I mean, there's so my. It's like I could probably make a movie because it's like I'm like I'm a man of faith and I'm led by my faith. And I don't try to I don't ever and that's my choice. I made my choice and my peace with God a long time ago, and everything that has happened has been by His hand, and it's a heavy story because it's like I went to this is where it all started. I went to Bali and with a couple of kids that I was working with, and we went out. I almost drowned. I went out. No, I flew in. I paddled out to this place. It was like 15 foot. First wave I took going down the coast, lose my board, I almost drowned. I climbed to the swimming for my life. I get to the shore, climb to the top of this mountain, and then I'm like, God, you either. And I've been trying to get in shape, and I'm like, God, you're either going to get me in shape, or I'm just going to become the fat uncle. It's like I give up already. And then I came back, and my friend Kai and he lives up in the north. He's like, hey, I just got sober, so I went up to Oahu, and he didn't have anybody to hang out with, so I went up to Oahu and hung out with him, and he introduced me to CrossFit. And then I came back to Kauai, and I was hooked already because the suffering that happens in that gym, it creates a bond. Like you have suffering that's familiar with everyone, and you create this bond. So as soon as I came back to Kauai, I had a van. I was just starting to do van loads of kids and friends who were struggling to the CrossFit gym. They didn't want to go to AA meetings, but they would come with me in the van to go to the gym. And then over the first 4 or 5 months, I was watching people stay sober, and the kids were just waking up at 5. Kids waking up at 5 to go and train. It doesn't happen. And then I just started to see this thing start to form. So I went down to I actually was like, God tells me you need to open your own gym in Poipu. So I was like, where the hell? I don't have money. I don't have that. You know what I mean? And then somehow I kept running into my friend all the time. And he does a jiu-jitsu program. And he told me about this place he wanted to do. And then behind Kukuyula store in the back of the anti-Terry guy's store right in Poipu. And I went back there and I had the spot. And I would bring people in there and say, I'm going to open a gym over here. And they're like, bro, you're out of your mind. And I was like, and they were telling me, you're not going to be able to do it. So when people tell me, oh, you're not going to do it, I'm like, watch. Oh, sorry, my language. I was like, watch. And then I did it. I just started to and I didn't have money. You know what I mean? I was struggling, but I got jobs, and I needed, when I needed paint, I got a job that just paid for it. When I needed mats, I just a job. All these things lined up, and then I started there, and then and I was, Bertram Amita, he's a good friend of mine. I mean, we grew up over here, and we've always had a great relationship, respect each other, and when we were just talking, I was just like, well, I gotta find a way to raise money for this. And then so listen, and Bertram runs the Garden Island Motorcycle Club. So I don't know if you guys know about that, but it's a unreal. They're actually having their 70th annual poker or Hair and Now Labor Day race coming up, and it's like 70th annual. That's like 70 years that thing's been going, and that's for me to keep this going for 10 years. I was like, we're gonna keep that for, that's huge. So he's all, let's go over here, and Bertram took me and he introduced me to the Knutson Trust to be able to see if I could do this run over there. And so we walked in. They had a big meeting. All the trust, everybody's on there, and I walk in. I'm like, oh my god! And I got to go up and speak to these people. And I'm not the best speaker, but I'm up there, and then I just shared how I share, and they gave me a chance. But those guys, if it wasn't for Bertram, I wouldn't have had the shot to be able to do the run up there. And then I put every penny that I had, I gathered it to pay for the luau and the whole thing for the run. It was about 60 grand. I don't know. I just scraped everything together and I had a luau like for all, and I had it all set, put it out there, put the thing out, and then all the way like probably a week and a half before the run, I only had like 14 people signed up, and I was like, oh my god, these guys are gonna have the best luau ever. 14 guys. So I'm already like, I'm gonna fail. And then Bertram, he's done these events before, and he's just like, don't worry, there's local style. They're gonna come in at the end, and then we did like 400 something people, and it was the hottest. I mean, there's so many parts that would just make you want to quit, you know. And but we pulled it off the first one. I made no money. I got like, I think we had like 15 grand or something in return. And there I'm like, oh yeah, we made money. I'm over here just like, bro, I'm broke again, And then so like, yeah, and then we just me and you just keep going, like for me, it's like an inhuman drive. It's like missionary work. Um, if I could describe, it's like, yeah, your whole life. It takes your whole life. In order, yeah, you
Well,
neglect
y-
that,
you know,
you neglect everything.
nothing happens by accident. You know that, right? I mean, it's kind of interesting how God puts people in your life. He puts you in places where you really never thought you would be, and that is, sounds like exactly what happened to you. I got to say, Bertram, we're classmates. We ran together. I mean, I love that guy like a brother, and I almost feel really bad now because he's been trying to get me up to experience the foundation and your camp, and it's just I just never got around to doing it. So I'm not sure if he'll ever see this video, but I want him to know that I appreciate him, I love him, and I didn't even know that uh, he was so instrumental in the beginning of Keala, and I'm kind of elated right now, and I'm really even more excited. Um, I kind of wanted to get to. I'm gonna pop up the website for those of you that are watching. I mean, KealaFoundation.com. Please go check it out, and you'll see a list of all of the programs that they have. Yeah, one of the things that I was really impressed, and I'm not going gospel on all of you guys, but those kids. And I'll ask you to explain not all of the programs. I think the website does a great job with explaining the programs. I did want you to talk about the camp, but you know the kids prayed before dinner. The kids prayed before um, the group, the group chat, and they prayed even the campfire. I mean, these kids have been transformed in such a very short period of time, and I gotta believe that these kids, you're never gonna save them all, but this program here gives these kids the best shot, I think, in being successful in kicking their addiction. And just hearing those kids go around the circle, and I heard it twice. I heard it on Thursday and then on the weekend. And for these kids to come out and share that innermost personal feelings about how their lives are being changed and how they think differently and how they appreciate things and their parents differently was just incredible. So Yeah, if you could just share a little bit about the let's just talk about the camp because that is it's non-traditional. It's just truly
Yeah.
non-traditional, but it is working, my friend. It is working.
So what I've learned over through my experience, and I'm not the only right way. I always, you know what I mean. This is what I've learned growing up here as a local boy, and this is just what I've learned and seen, and Kauai, and to me, Kauai is like a petri dish. That's the nicest thing about. That's the advantage that I have on Kauai, as I got to be able to test and see what works on this island. And the camp is, the again, the Knutson Trust has blessed me with the facility up there, and it's it's just like how I grew up. We're up there. There's a stream right there. There's it's not like a sterile environment like a hospital room or whatever. I've been to all those places, and it's like I just would lie to my teeth in there just so I could get out of there. And but at the camp, we have pickleball, we play paintball, we have all, we go to the beach, we do all these things. And but then the biggest thing is, like, I always go back to what we teach, and it's like the I if when you can sit a kid down in a simple way and show them the way they're living. There's a way I do it. I put it on the board. I write, what you guys doing? What's your days like? And they'll go to that and write, oh, and it's fun. I'm like, bro, okay, you guys, this is what I would do too. And then we start playing a game, like how lazy we are, or whatever. We start writing, this is my days, Instagram, this, that, boom, laying around, eat all, it's just, and it goes right there. And then I go, man, oh, that's freaking, and they're like laughing and having a good time. And then and this is just the first day. And then I'll go over and then I'll go over here. What do you guys want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? And then they'll be, oh, I like to be a doctor. I like to be on credit. I'm okay. And then I was like, do you guys, so the way you guys are living your life now, does this look like you're headed there? And they're like, no. And they're like, oh, and then even like with the household, I'll go over here and I'll talk, how do you guys act at home? And then it gets fun, like, oh, and the whole thing. And then I break down the finances of what the parent has to pay, and then they look at it and they're like, oh, it's like 10 grand to live. Yeah, that's why your parents working all the time. So I'm like, okay, let's just flip the tables, and I'll say, okay, you guys, if you guys were paying all these bills, would you like someone like you? Would you like someone like you living in the house with them? And they're like, would you support them? Then the answer is always no. And I'm like, well, there. And it's just like, and that's the part where you start to give the kids ownership of their lives. That's the biggest problem local families have, is they enable their kids, and they take them in, and they don't give the kids the ability to take ownership of their lives. When they make a mistake, it's not a bad thing. It's like, bro, you just chose that. It's yours. This is what you get. It's all good. That's your gift. And then when you give them the ability to think, thinking is like huge. When they learn how to think and speak and be transparent, man, that is the place where you have to get with these kids. You have to build that trust where they can trust you to be able to start talking. And that's my gift. I can do that. Like, I do that with adults and everybody, because I use my story. I have no shame of my story, and I'll share that with people and just say, hey, this is I have a checkered past. I've been in jail twice, all the everything, all the things. I've been in the news. I've been this, blah blah blah. And it's like, but it's when I share that pain and those things, people can relate, because everybody's not perfect in the lightest way I can say it, but when you let people recognize it and take ownership and don't allow them to play the victim and this and that, that's when the kids start to get traction. Anybody in their life, once they start to do that, they can get traction. And once you establish that, you change their life. They may go back out to drugs again, but I've seen it. They come back quick. They'll go back out, test the waters, but they'll know, and they come back. And then I don't have to try and fix a broken adult at like 40, which is almost impossible. The percentage of people to walk out of drug addiction and alcoholism is about 1%. And that's being generous. So most people don't come back from it. And if they do, the damage is so bad that it's hard for them to live a productive life. So but the kids, they can, it's just, and that's, yeah, if I describe it that way, it's like it's pretty heavy. But the solution's so simple and obvious, but it's like it's yeah,
The other
it's
thing too, Aaron, is your support staff. Those guys
oh
that
you
were, and I know. Well, I kind of want to get Wild Bill to chime in because he was there on the weekend too, and I think, well, Bill was a lot more familiar with the program than I was, but I think we both experienced some life changing emotions this weekend. But your staff, those when they went around the circle and I heard their stories, and you think, for that group of people, and to all at some point end up in the same place with the same vision, with the same compassion here on Kauai is just simply amazing. So, yeah, your staff is incredible, and starting with your assistant that's doing all the camera work there in your office over there. But how do you round up all these guys?
dude, it's all God, man. They just everybody, the right people show up at the right time. It's just like these, it's like tides of people come in and out. It's like and all of these people that like I've affected their lives. I'm being transparent with them. I do a meeting at my house, and and that a majority of every single one of those guys in there, I help them get sober. I was the first guy that they came to get sober, and what I taught them, they have sobriety now, so it's all these local guys that come in, and they know how lucky they are. This gift of sobriety is like it's very rare, and so they'll come. They see the light. They've been touched, so they want to come back. It's not hard to like, and there's a saying like that if you want to keep it, you got to give it away. So in order for these guys to keep staying sober, they have to come back and give that away. What I gave them, like the men before gave me, they got to do that same thing. And it's with women to everybody. It's just like once you glimpse the life of being transparent and having safe people in your life where you can talk and communicate, that's how you build a community. That's the true. That's like old island village style. Like what that real close family style. That's what you're creating a new community on Kauai that is, and to me, that's the part that's almost extinct over here because there's so much money, so much people, so much, and they don't have that. Nobody's raised in like a village. I was raised here. I lived next to the cow lilies, and they used to like they took me in like a son, and then the bandmans up the road. There's like I would go over and I was just like love you, just come in, yeah, here, eat all the just that environment is open doors, everybody's welcome. It's like that's that's I mean, I don't know how you could, I'm not a Hawaiian or
Well,
whatever,
it's
but it's
it's
at the base
it's the
of it is
village, man. I mean, our viewers are known as the village. During COVID, we did this show every night, and we just created this village, and it just started off as kind of a, not, I won't say a joke, but it was just kind of, yeah, we call ourselves a village, but that name stuck, and it is the village that raised you, Aaron, the village that raised me, that raised Billy. On Saturday night when you shared your story, when you talk about transparency, I think the kids and myself, and I'm sure Billy, I'll ask Billy to chime in on this because I thought it was just, it was tough because I see you as this leader that came from a very dark place, and you turned your life around, and now you're just laying it on these kids and turning their lives around. But you shared some very personal things on Saturday night, which the kids could see that you are not a superhuman, that you are a human being, that life is going to kick you in the okole every so often. And like I told them, and this is uncensored, unscripted, whatever, but you said you pick your ass up and you keep on moving. What they saw that night from you, as you basically bared your soul, um, was phenomenal, I think, and they got to see, and I'm sure they probably saw it prior in evenings prior, but for me that was my first time, and I think that was Bill's first time. Bill, how was that, Billy? How was that when Aaron shared that his story, and just it just couldn't help but just it was quite
All
emotional.
right, I'll chime in now. I'm honored to be here, Bill DeCosta. I've actually it wasn't my first time with you, Mel. I've been inspired to hang out with Aaron and the Keala Foundation numerous times up at the camp. I just didn't make it public. But you asked a really important question. Why do the men hang around? And Aaron said they come back to give back their sobriety, and they feel like they have to give back. Mel, me and you never had a drug or alcohol problem, but we're here, and I'm gonna tell you why we're here. Because Aaron Hoff and this program is more than just sobriety and giving back. You feel like you belong someplace. You feel genuinely unjudged. You have magic, Aaron Hoff, and it's more than just taking in kids that gotta be fixed with drugs and alcohol. It's kids that know that you love them, and the kids feel like they got mentors that care about them, and it's huge. There's so many kids out there, whether they're doing drugs or they're not, they need good mentors, and I feel like my little role here on Kauai, 23 years teaching. I've been doing the out at Waimea High School. I did 8 years of a fully self-contained with kids that were on drugs and alcohol. And I had them for the academic, but they would come and do academics in my classroom, and then they would leave, and there wasn't enough. But I think the ones that I helped save, which is still in my contact today, I'm proud to say there's a couple of them that I did save, is because I brought them to my house. I brought them camping. I brought them to non-traditional things, like what we did with your boys. We took Aaron's group of men, the boys, I'm not sure, 13 to 17, hunt on wild cow in the back of my ranch. We took them go hunt one cow. I have tame cows, and I have some mountain cows, and we took them go shoot a mountain cow, and we packed the meat out. And I mean, those boys thought they were back in the 1800s, hunting with one gun, and everybody. We came back, and we made steaks on a grill. That we just, I mean, it was amazing, Aaron. But the experience you provided for those young adults. So, um, yeah, Mel, I think the non-traditional stuff work, and if all the doctors and psychiatrists and drug treatment programs want to ask themselves, why do their patients repeat what they're doing and they don't get sober right away? It's because they're not untraditional. You got something going good, Aaron. And Mel and I believe in you, believe in the Keala Foundation, believe in Sarah, and I hope everybody watching know that if you need help, your kid needs help, this is the place. And you know what? Even if your kid don't need help, I think if your kid wanna just hang out with Aaron Hoff and be a good kid around these kids that maybe need some good kids in the group, maybe have them come over, Aaron Hoff. Maybe we can branch off and invite. It's like when you create a community of housing. You don't only put the rich on one side and the poor on one side and the middle class far on the other side. You want to have the rich with the poor and the middle class. You want to do that also, bring in all the kids. And I know you got that going on in CrossFit. And how I know is because my son, you helped save my son, my middle boy. I was having trouble with him. He wasn't on drugs, he wasn't on alcohol, but he had an attitude. I couldn't handle him. I went to you, and you'd fix my boy. It wasn't because they went stay in your camp because he was on marijuana or alcohol, because he didn't do that stuff. But you fixed his attitude by showing him that you're a leader. He wants to be like you. He was felt loved, and you spoke to him about how his dad, me, is trying to help him in life. And today the guy is my best friend. At 24, and I'm proud to say you helped me. So yeah, this is more than just. I go to
Yeah,
the Monday meetings because I wanna not hear stories. I go there. I'm not a recovering addict, but I go there because I feel like there's a group of people that care about each other. That's how Kauai should be. Everybody in every community should care about each other. Thank you.
hey,
And I think
Aaron, before I like just pop this comment. I don't know if you can you guys see the comments?
No.
Okay, it says, "Hi, Uncle Hoffy. It's Javen. That's my nephew, Javen."
Oh,
Yeah, right on. My nephew is watching. That's awesome. What's up, Makoto? I call him Makoto.
Javen, the strongest kid in Lahui.
Yeah.
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 But yeah,
So
I wanna say something. It's like you don't. It's not about being a drug addict or alcoholic. It's like if you drugs and alcohol. That when you're using it's just a symptom. That's all it is. Everybody suffers from the same thing, and it's that is just all that is the tool. It's either drugs, alcohol, pornography, Instagram, your phone, all those things. Those are tools that we use to distract us from what's going on inside. And when you get in an environment that makes you actually become vulnerable, it's a man, the right play, man. You will watch people lives change, and I have, it's like it doesn't, it just doesn't. That's where every kid on the island is at risk, and I've learned that it's easier to make a strong kid than fix a broken adult. So the more kids we get, like I like kids that the I like them all. I'm not gonna, but the best you got to go way upstream with these kids and give them that hard education right out of the gate. It can't be watered down because this thing will kill them. This thing that's on happening. It's a deadly plague, and I watch it like this. What I've seen and experienced in the families I've talked with over the past 26 years. I would wish I wouldn't want anybody to experience that weight of having to see, like, I've talked guns out of people's mouths. I've talked to kids one day and they're dead the next day, and it's just like, wow, you know what I mean? It's just like, and this is constant. My phone's always ringing. It's like, I've always picked up my phone, and it's like, and it's no joke. It's not to be played around. And I always try to, like, tell parents the most ignorant thing you can do is say that it's not going to be my kid. When you're thinking that, you are fooling yourself. It's an island with very little environments to go, and this drug problem and this it's going. It doesn't sleep. It doesn't take a break, and that's Keala Foundation. I just know it's a consistent environment. It has to be consistent all year round. You can't stop because this thing doesn't stop.
So, Aaron, I know we talked about the camp, but you offer other programs. You offer, I mean, you got a water safety program. You also got a CrossFit program. For those parents that will be watching this, and I know it's kealafoundation.com, but for kids that just want to be around a positive environment, again, man, I wish I could have hung out with the people that was in that circle when I was a kid. I gotta tell you, man, I don't like to say I had a man crush on you guys, but man, I was like so inspired.
You did have a man crush. You know how I know? Because I got a man crush going to that group, man. And it's
I
all right, man. It's okay for us to say this, man. It
well,
is. Because there's a lot of guys out there. Let me finish. Let me finish. There's a lot of men out there who got crushes on you and me. And they're not married to each other.
this
I
is
got,
the
I'm
this is the
serious.
s- but
It's like,
hey,
it's real.
Aaron, this is a scary part about having Billy on a live show. This is one of the scary parts about having
That's
Billy on
scary.
a live
It's
show.
for real, right?
That's how you get. There's
Yeah.
people you look up to. Like you look,
No,
like just like I said, growing up, there's guys that rip, that surf, they're dealing drugs in the parking lot.
yeah,
But we look up.
it's just because, and maybe for we are faced so with so much negative nowadays. You cannot turn on the news and there's no more good stories on anymore. And I know the impacts of drugs. My career as a cop, and we all, every single one. I don't care if you're where you work. I don't care what your background is. We all have stories of family, friends, loved ones that have struggled, and in some cases, unfortunately, have left us because of this plague. So to be around a positive group of people that ain't just talking the talk, they walking the walk, I think for the people, the parents out there that have kids, young adults that want to be around positive role models, even those little kids were. I mean, I was like, yeah, damn, they were so inspiring. You got to check it out at KealaFoundation.com because you can. It's not just limited to, as you said, Aaron. It's not just limited to those that are struggling with addiction. It's just kids that want to be around positive role models. I think that is what's the important thing.
I wanted to chime in real quickly. I had a chance over the last 2 years to experience your kids outside of your program. I teach at Kapa High School, and I had your boys in my building and construction class. I had your boys out in the recess and lunch, and they're respectful. It's amazing what the program, and I got to give credit to their parents and their upbringing, right? Because you never just instill all those good cultural and traditional respectful values, but those kids were top notch, and I got to touch up that
And they're still sober, like over a year.
and they're
15
telling their
years old,
stories to the
15
other
years
kids.
old, and they're choosing sobriety.
That's me.
They choose because the little gift you give them the ability to think and choose and see the truth, and it's pretty heavy. And like one thing I want to say too, like all the programs that we have, it's like when I was creating this thing, and my head was down, man. I was flying all over the world, going to events and this and that, and like my just going, and you know what I mean, and doing this here, and I was just my head was so focused, and I just, to me, I was I thought like, man, I'm the only one doing anything, and it just, but then there was a time that I hit a wall, and I started to go into these little community, because I was always like, there was all these little community meetings going on, and I started to go to those, and then it opened up my eyes. I was like, wow, there's actually people who are doing a lot of good things. I mean, they may not do what I do, but there's other things that they do, and I was able to start to utilize, like out in Keala with kind of Makua guys, where they have an unreal program out there, that we work with, and all the kids, and he's consistent, and there's Bronson guys out in Anahola. The gym out there is, the kids, they have a place to go now, and to get that place going was, it's hard, to do these, but it's like, the even like with them, like when the motorcycle club, and those guys, it's like we have so much exciting things going on, that we have a whole nother program we're putting together with the Bertram guys that we're trying to help them do up there. That's gonna just bless the island in a way that's like super special, and and those guys that put their time in up at the motorcycle, they're I've worked with them forever, and it's like the I mean, I can't even. It's so hard to put in words, but it's like the drive to be able that they put in it's so special for people to sacrifice their lives to be able to like keep this environment out. It's like it takes. I mean, it takes so much energy and so much like pushing through like so many hard times. Like this last, I just pushed through one of the biggest bottoms of my life, maybe in the past 5 days. I broke down in the meeting the other night, and it was like, because I've been in pain for 2 years, and it was I finally found out it was my hip, and and this program's taken up my whole life. And I got sober. Most people in this occupation, they don't survive 26 years. It's impossible because of the stuff you see, and I just lost my train of thought.
So you're
Yeah.
explaining
But
that
I think
tough time breakdown, and you're explaining how you trying
and then
to.
I went, and so I've been sober for 26 years, and it's like, and then I had to start taking pain, and this is personal. Like, it's like I had to start taking painkillers, and for me to have to do that is like, it's scary, because that I've watched people play with that stuff and they lose everything. They, the thing comes back and it takes you over, and I had to do that, and the last time I had surgery on my shoulder, and this is like at 20 something years, or I almost killed myself. I got suicidal. I got depressed, and this when all this beautiful stuff's happening, all these kids are getting help. Everything. Aaron's dying over here inside, just hanging on. And then now the same thing again with this whole process. I was like just
Hey,
punching through, but I have.
Aaron,
Oh,
for
go ahead.
the people that tuned in late that didn't hear you mention your recent hip replacement surgery, I think it's important because he just came out and said, "Yeah, I just took painkillers." Like no, he took
Yeah,
painkillers because this guy, as you can see, he's squirming in the seat because he just had hip replacement, and it's a struggle for him just to. I mean, he just replaced his hip a few weeks ago. So anyway,
feeling
I
good
just
now.
I wanted to make sure that the people that come on late understand why.
It's not so. I'm a drug addict, and you know what I mean. And it's like recovering drug addict, and it's like for me to have to do that, I just. But the thing is that I know, like, is I have such a huge support group. Like I have friends all over the world calling me up, texting me, hitting me up, like just get like and it's hard for me because I give everything to everybody. And I'm not like trying to like be some whatever's, but I just like this is just me. I give everything I can to this. It's my time, my marriage has been neglected, and but my wife supports me, because she sees our son is sober. He's and because of this, he has, and my daughter has a good life because of this and what I've taught them, and it's like, and it's like this is like, and I don't know how long I'm going to be here, and I just feel like I don't my time is so short on this life that I want to gift this to everybody. I want everybody to see this because everybody deserves this. This is beyond money, beyond things, beyond anything. This is what everybody is searching for, that feeling of being loved and in a community that is so unconditionally just accepting, and it's crazy. My friendships, like me and Bertram have been doing this for 10 years. I go back with Bertram because we've survived so many things because we can have hard conversations with each other. My friend Bronson in Anahola, Bronson Law, we have we're like yelling at each other, and it's like, oh, but we always know that we're just communicating to get through this together. It's never like, hey, you know what, screw you already, and we never got. We know how to get through it to become stronger as friends. There's nothing that's you can't get through. And people need to learn that. It's just and it's not hard. It's not hard. You just have to be just like what we teach the kids. You have to understand how to process trauma. You have to understand how to utilize these tools that are super simple. These kids get it. You know, it's so, and it's yeah, but it boils down to the choice. You know, it always
Aaron,
comes back to a choice.
Aaron, I know you cannot see the comments, unfortunately, and I'm putting them up on the screen as they come up. But I did want to put one of them back up, and this is Derek Leonard Landecker said, "The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Great work." And that is just really the story. The basis of this story is that there's a few of you, but the but the harvest is plentiful, and you see the success with these kids. Marty Law says, "This is why you're such a good leader, Aaron." There's a lot of good comments, and unfortunately, you can't see it on the screen. But when this is done,
It's probably better because
please,
I have an ego that can.
please go, just go check the Facebook post, and you'll get to read all the nice things these guys are saying. But it's quite a story. I know we're at about an hour already, and let me here's just one more that I'll read. God bless Aaron Hoff for your recovery from drugs and alcohol for 26 years and giving and helping so many in the community. We need many more mentors like you. Absolutely, amen. I guess I'll turn it back to you guys and get some closing comments from each of you. But I just want to say that I was just like truly inspired, like truly, truly, truly inspired, and I think it's we have a lot of, and Aaron, you're right. There's a lot of people that are here on Kauai doing good work, and hopefully we can get them all on the show in the upcoming weeks. But it's just so needed. I do want to take a little bit of time and talk about the drug treatment center up at Kapaya because there's some really vicious rumors running around that it's falling apart. And but we are actually getting ready to have them on the show as well to offer what to show what they offer. And basically, right now, the YMCA of Honolulu is up there doing intensive outpatient and outpatient services on a daily basis up there, and they're working right now to secure a contract for the residential. So that is moving. So if you hear anything about the drug treatment center falling apart, please discount that. It's not true. But it's going to take, again, it's going to take the village. It takes the village to raise a child. It's going to take this entire village of Kauai and our brothers and sisters across the state to help us with this horrific drug plague that is going on. So yeah. So with that, I just want to give back to you guys and get some closing thoughts before we sign off.
Well, I think like I know Jade. Well, I grew up with them. They're Corey, her brothers. We used to party, man. We used to have good times back in the day, and I know Jade well, Ellie very well, and she's up there now, and I talk with her, and she's been praying with me for my, just helping me like get you some stuff, and it's like God puts all these people in your life at the right time, and I to be honest with you, like before when it was that place, I was feeling negative about it, but then but in the long run, it's like shame on me for feeling that way. You know what I mean? Because and when I really look at it, in the whole grand scheme of thing, it's like what I do is hard. To create this and have this environment is so hard. It is the hardest thing. That's why nobody does it. It is so freaking hard. And emotionally, spiritually, and mentally, it will bankrupt you over and over and over and over. So to get a place like that open, the people who are judging it, or you know what I mean, how much time do you guys take out of your life to give back? You got to check yourself first before you start throwing stones. You know what I mean? And it's like what can you do? And it's like I always like, even with the kids, I tell them, if you do it's one thing a day. It takes a community of everybody. If everybody does one little good thing a day for something like that place, you know how prosperous that place would be. Instead of giving that one shitty comment you put out or whatever, you could be doing something good toward that place. It takes. It's crazy how when you start doing that little bit of work, and it's the people who are listening and it's like it's on us. It's on me to make the difference. It's on each and every single one of us to make a difference.
I'll chime in
No,
on that
no,
real
wait.
quick.
I just like say that's why I got a man crush on this guy because he just so damn brilliant. But I wanted to tell you, Aaron, that Jade is actually watching, and she did make a comment. She said my buddy Aaron and his gang are doing amazing things. I can assure you that Jade and I will get together, and we're gonna figure out a way how we can be partners in this fight with Kolui Kapono up there and with Keala Foundation. There is a way, and
Yeah.
we will figure that out because I think again what I saw and the traditional non-traditional partnerships, I think we can do a lot of good things. So thank you, man. Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, I just want to chime in real quickly since we're on the adolescent treatment center and the connection I have with Aaron and my friendship. And nobody knows this, but when I was in college, I would ride my horse down with Kimo Palama. We'd be at Brannake's, and you must have been 12 or 13. And Boogie Body, you forget that, but I know that you were the little howly boy that always come up. We had some beers in our saddlebags, and I might have gave you a beer when you was young. I don't know. But I always liked you, Aaron. I never judged you. And Mel, it's funny, you just talk about Jade and adolescent treatment center. I was just offered yesterday to help DOE open that program with the academic part, and I'm struggling with that because I did that 8 years ago. I'm in high school and it's draining. But they told me that there's not very many candidates that can handle that kind of curriculum and that kind of kids. So I'm thinking I might give it a shot my last 2 years and help start that program up there on the academic side, and maybe run with the Aaron your side, and together private and DOE and the adolescent treatment center, we can make something really happen on Kauai. So maybe God is calling me too to step up to the plate again and do something good for the kids. Might miss my kids at Kapa. Of course I do. They're good kids over there, but I gotta help where I'm needed, right? So
And at the end of the day, it's all the same purpose. You know what I mean? You take all the stuff away. It's just you just touching a life. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's like the highest calling. I think that the greatest occupation you can have in your life that every human will find their true meaning is when you start helping others. You know, that's when you start to feel alive. You know, it's crazy. It's like it's yeah, it's crazy. When I was taking and grabbing and taking, you know what I mean? That's the crappiest I've ever felt.
Hey, I told you, man. This is uncensored, man. You know, the real talk. That's one of the nice things about having a, rather
I'm
than.
like I'm a sailor, bro. If you know me outside, oh
Well,
gosh.
no, I when I got up there last week Thursday, I said, "Hey, what is the language restrictions here?" You know, because I'm about to go talk to a bunch of kids, and when I go real, I go real. I know both of you have seen it. My wife has seen it. By the way, my wife, and again, you can't see the comment, but my wife is actually watching this, and she said, "I'm baking Aaron cookies."
Oh, bro, she made the meanest cookies.
Billy, you weren't there Thursday night. No, you were there. You were there when
Was
that
there?
was Saturday night.
I had Patsy's cookies. Patsy, why don't you bake one cookie for Billy and the other 2 dozen for Aaron? That's all. One cookie, Patsy.
Hey, Aaron,
They
I
should
got
make them all crispy all the way through and a little bit like a
You know, Mel,
so
you got an
good.
angel of a wife. I just needed to say that
oh,
here on Facebook. She is an angel.
Aaron, I'm gonna ask her to make you this mango bar. I don't know what the heck it's called, but
I like
um,
it already.
brah. I mean, I like cookies, and her cookies are good. And I heard more than one of you say that was the best cookies they ever had. But this mango bar is like out of this world. But she is she that's her way of giving back, and I can tell you, she blesses so many people with pastries. She's an angel. You're right, Billy. There's a special place in heaven um, for her, and actually, Billy, for your wife, just for having to put up with you. She's got a special place. And then Aaron, I know you shared a little bit about this earlier, but if not for your wife, if not for your family, if not for your support group at home, you cannot do what you do. I that night when I got home, and I every night before I go sleep, I say a prayer, and I honestly did pray for you, Aaron, and your program, and I also prayed for your wife because I can only imagine um, the stress that she goes through supporting you, and because I cannot imagine it being easy.
That's
So
a whole other story. You know what I mean? It's like we've almost been divorced. We've almost I've been through everything you can think of what we've walked. We've made it through it. You know what I mean? And it's like falling in love is not the beginning. It's like when you make it through things. I believe that's when you fall more in love. Is when you keep even in like relationships. Like I was talking about earlier with friends. It's a different. It's not like my wife love. It's just like you know what I mean. You become stronger, and when you get through hard things with people, don't be afraid to have hard conversations. And my wife is just huge.
Sound like this is another podcast, marriage encounter. Let's have a
Oh,
and talk about. There's a lot of people out there wanting to get marital advice and they're shame. Maybe that's another coconut wireless topic for you, Mel. Talking about relationships
one of
and
the
how you make it
greatest
strong.
advice I got from one of my friends when I was getting early, he said, "Aaron, keep your mouth shut." And I would call him. I was like, "Oh," and I call him up. My wife yelling at me. He's like, "What? Did you open your mouth?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "There's your problem." I just
Wow, is that's your way to think?
yeah.
Yeah, my way is I run the house.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, no, I run the
That's
house. I
what
run
he
the
thinks.
vacuum. I run the dishwasher. Duster. I run the osterizer. Everything. I run everything.
Billy,
Yep.
Billy's a great husband, man. I gotta tell you. Hey, Aaron, one more comment before we shove off. Kaleo Perez said, Aaron has an awesome testimony. So admirable what he's doing for kids, dedicating his time and efforts for the betterment of our youth. We became good friends over the years. Did a lot of diving and spearfishing with him. Keep up the good work, Huffy.
We've
Yeah.
seen some sharks together, me and him.
Kaleo Perez, good man. Kathy Perez is a medal. That's another good wife right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unreal.
Unreal.
Khalil is an amazing man, amazing guy. So, well, guys, I mean, I could, we could do this all night long, but I know that it's late, and I just got to tell you guys, I appreciate the two of you, Aaron. Again, what an inspiration! Your program is an inspiration. Your support group is an inspiration. Your kids, I know they still not done with the program that their program. They still got some more things to complete. Um, I hope I get the honor and the privilege to go back up there again one day with the next
It'll be
group and the next group and the next group. Because I tell you what, man, it honestly, what it gave me that night, both Thursday night and then when I went back on Saturday night, it gave me hope. We all, it's frustrating when you're trying to do good things, when you're trying to do good stuff, and so many times you feel like you're pissing in the wind, and when you come across an experience like this where you see genuine hope in these kids and you just cannot help but feel good about yourself. As I was driving home, I was talking to my wife on the phone, and she told me, "Wow, man, you're fired up." I said, it's like an experience I haven't had in a long time. It was
It's
that
working.
it was that real for me on that Thursday night. I needed it. God put you in that program in my life at the right time, and I cannot thank you enough, Aaron. I really cannot.
It's more contagious than COVID.
Yeah, it's like I told the kids, man. Once you start helping other people in whatever capacity, it becomes the addiction. It becomes the addiction, and the feeling, the good feeling you get every time you help someone, is awesome, 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 awesome. So anyway, I know I gave you guys opportunity for closing comments. I'll do it one more time because we are going to sign off. But Aaron, just mahalo, man.
Yeah, I was just like to say one. We have a big event coming up. It's the Ultimate Hawaiian Trail Run. It's on September. When is it? The 14th. The September 14th. And we piggyback off of the Labor Day race, the Garden Island Motorcycle Club's 70th annual Labor Day race. So that all these trails in the mountains that we use, these are the ones that they cut. They go up there, they manicure all these trails so that we can come behind them and take everybody running through there to raise money to help fund the foundation, to help the motorcycle club, to help other programs throughout and create these things. So the more people we have come out and run this program, it's the more impact it has on the kids. And you can even, you don't even, we have like it's supposed to be a 5K and a 10K, but I never get the mileage right. So we call it's a 5-ish and 10K-ish race. I mean, we have an easy one too. And so I just encourage everybody to come check it out, and it's really, really a good time because like the last one we did, every time I go in there, we're watching, I drive my buggy through there and stuff, and I'm watching kids that are like 5 and 6 years old by themselves, just wandering through the trail, just cruising along, it's like, and where else can you do that? Where can your kids go out and have a safe environment like that to be out there running around on the trails and just have the time of their life, to have a memory like that when you're a kid out there just having a good time, so it's, yeah, that thing's hard to put on too. It's a lot of work. So please come out and make it.
All right, it's on
Make
the
it
screen. September 14th, Ultimate Hawaiian Trail Run. It's the Ultimate Hawaiian Trail Run.com. Ultimate Hawaiian Trail Run.com. 5-ish, 10-ish. Marty, you're awesome. 5-ish, 5K-ish, and 10K-ish. LOL only on Kauai. I can promise you one thing.
One year the 5K was a 10K, so I had 2 10. I was just saying, and I had a sign halfway there that said, "You're almost not there."
I'm thinking since we're talking about the trail run, and I'm going to close now, Aaron, and Aaron and I wanted to compete against each other.
Oh, yeah.
And I've never done it because I told Aaron I would win him because I live on that mountain. We own 10 acres of that mountain, so I do the trails at night sometimes. So, but I tell you what, Aaron, since your hip is hurt, I'm thinking Mel and I should challenge, and people can bet on us, and the money goes to the foundation. So I'm willing to say right now, I'll go and challenge Mel, and the money we earn, whoever bets on me, the money goes to Keala. Whoever bets on Mel, the money goes to Keala. And Mel, let's put on a show, man. We'll run with our little shorts and our little tank top, and we'll go in up the trail, and I'll give you like a 10-minute head start. Yeah.
You know, Billy, you're an ass. No, Billy. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna spend an extra couple minutes because I gotta tell you all a story. I gotta tell you all a story. This is a good
Oh
story.
my.
Look, if my wife is saying, "Oh my," but I'm
No,
gonna tell
don't.
you guys. No, I'm gonna tell you a story because this is the truth, and Billy he won't lie. So I'm gonna put me on the screen because this is a. We are in the mainland. We're at a conference. We're at a
Oh
Western
my.
region. Yeah, that's right, Bill. I'm gonna mute you.
Election
Anyway,
season, guy. I want to get elected.
no. So we're in this the closing reception for this conference. There's hundreds of people in this big ballroom.
1,000 people. 1,000.
Thousand, okay, 1,000 people. And Billy, there was a mechanical riding bull in this conference that people could go ride the bull. And anyway, um, so I'm in my dress pants. I'm in my aloha shirt. I'm in my dress shoes. Billy DeCosta is in his cowboy boots, his jeans, his cowboy shirt, his cowboy hat, and I hear in the microphone there's a band playing. Right, he goes up and he interrupts the band. He takes the mic from the singer and he says, "Hey, I got to go double screen on this one because I want people to see this."
Yeah, let's see the
So
comments,
so
man.
so Billy goes on the microphone and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention? My name is Bill DeCosta. I'm from the county of Kauai. Okay, 1,000 people now. And I want to challenge my chair, Mel Raposo, to a mechanical bull contest." Now, no, now I was not drinking. I was drinking soda. I was cold sober. Billy was cold sober. And I look at Billy and I look at our table and I'm telling the other Kauai people, I say, what is wrong with this guy? Number one, I never rode a damn mechanical bull in my life. I never, sure as hell, never ride one live bull. This is a cowboy. But Mel Raposo never turns down a challenge. So I take the
We, we,
challenge. I take the
we
challenge.
sent a cowboy hat around for them to bet on us, remember?
Well, they were
And they
betting.
bet.
Everybody had bet on Uncle Bill, Uncle Wild Bill, because he was the cowboy. Well, Billy, why don't you tell the villagers who won? Tell the
No,
villagers who won.
I'll be honest.
I want to know.
So there were a couple of very wealthy, large cattle ranchers from Nevada and Utah, and they actually put like $500 in the hat. There are the multiple. The pot might have been 10 grand in that
One
hat.
guy, Billy,
And
one guy lost $1,000 he bet on Wild Bill. But anyway, tell him who
yeah,
won.
so I went up to the bull and yeah, we rode and Mel beat me fair and square. Mel, he has those thighs that just can squeeze the bull, and I have more muscles in my upper body, and my legs are kind of small.
It's all
So
those good cookies, yeah, Mel.
I don't know what it was, but he won. But Mel, let me tell you, yes, Mel won, and he was the man. And till today, every conference we go to, they remember as Mel is the bull rider, and Billy is the guy who lost. So I have to live with that. So
Yeah. So be careful when you're making challenges. All right. Anyway,
don't
folks,
think you can beat.
and it's actually on video, so you guys get to see
Oh
it if
yeah,
you want to. Yeah. You
we
make a
won't
make
show
a
the.
hundred make $100 donation to Keala Foundation. I'll send you the video. I'll
Yeah.
send you the well.
Okay.
I'll send you the winner's video, which is mine. Anyway, folks, hey, to you on the village, guys. You guys, Aaron, thank you very much. Appreciate you spending your time with us. Wild Bill, thank you as well. And to your staff, was that Sarah in there?
Sarah, she's the one.
Sarah,
She's the best.
Sarah, thank you so much. This owl camera kind of messes up because I cannot, but it's awesome and it was a great show. Go check out the two. Yes, it's on YouTube. Miss Brune, it's on YouTube again. Mel Raposo. Don't forget. Do not forget. Go to YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. Click a like. Click the button so you get notified, or the bell icon whenever we do a new show. So Again, thank you guys. We love you guys. God bless. We will see you guys next week. Aloha.
Aloha.
I would have loved to see that.